Hello everyone, welcome to another maths video by Maths with Sarah. So today we're going to be looking at this question that involves angles on parallel lines. Now, as you may remember, there are 4 rules for angles on parallel lines. I will go through all of them. This question doesn't require all of them, but I will just go through all of them just as a reminder. But before I do, I would encourage you to pause the video now and have a little think about how you would tackle this question, maybe what method you would use. If you can do the whole question, then brilliant. If you get stuck, don't worry. Just come back in a minute once you've had a chance to have a think, read the question, think about what you would do, and I will explain it. Now, just to note, this is a non-calculator question. I don't think you need a calculator, but just a reminder that you won't be using it. So this question starts, it says that we've got a parallelogram. The parallelogram is from A, B, C to D. And then you've got this straight line ADC, and F is a point on AD. And we know we've been given 2 of the angles. So we know that EFD is 35 degrees and DCB is 75 degrees. And it's asking us to show that the angle ABF, so this angle here, which I'm going to call X for now, is 70 degrees. And it wants us to give a reason for each stage of your working. Now, this is where the 4 rules of the parallel angles and parallel lines comes in really useful. So the 4 rules, so number 1 is opposite angles are equal. So if you see here, we've got a straight line that crosses a parallel line. We know that this angle here is equal to this angle. So we know that AFB is 35 degrees. The next angle is Z angles. So Z angles or alternate angles. The official name is alternate angles, but quite often they're called Z angles. And this is because if you draw it out, you get a Z shape. So you go from A to F to B to C. You can see that makes a Z shape. And that tells us that the alternate angle, so on the alternate from AFB to FBC, is the same. So this angle here would be 35 degrees. That's rule number 2. Rule number 3 looks at corresponding angles. So this is, for example, I'm just going to have to extend this online a little bit. So this is corresponding angles. Makes a shape looking like an F. So you might have heard it called an F angle before. And this is where the angle that's here, so on the top of the top parallel line to the top of the bottom parallel line are equal. So if we were going to call this Y, and we see that both of these are going to be the same. So yeah, corresponding angles, the top of each parallel line angles are equal. And then finally, the interior angles, or sometimes known as C angles, because again they make a shape like a C, where we've got, so for example, if we go from F to A to B to C, we can see that the angle Y is equal to this angle here. So for example, we call this angle Z, and we know that this angle here is this angle here, so Z, and angle Y both add up to 180 degrees, and they're the 2 interior angles on this, forming like a C shape on here. Okay, so let's quickly run through the 4 rules. So we've got opposites are the same, alternate angles are the same, corresponding angles are the same, and interior angles add up to 180. I'm just going to clear all of that working initially, and now I'll run through how we do this question. So we've been asked to show that angle ABF is 70 degrees. So we'll call that one X for now, while we work out what this angle is. Now, I'm sure there are so many different ways of working this question out. It's probably each person would do it slightly differently. The way that I always do these questions is I start by thinking about what I know, the information that I've got, and what I can then work out from there. So it may not be the best way of doing it, it may not be the quickest way of doing it, but as long as it gets you to the answer, that's the main thing. And as long as it gets you the right answer, that's the main thing. So if we start by, I would start by just trying to find as many angles as I can, and hopefully at some point you'll be able to work out what this angle is. So if we go from EFD, we've already said that this angle is opposite. So this here is going to be the same as this angle here. So it will be 35 degrees. So we've got an opposite angle. We then also know this Z angle here, or this alternate angle, is going to be the same. So FBC is going to be the same as AFB. So that will be 35 degrees. So that's another angle that we now know. We then also know that we've got a sort of an upside down F here. So we know the corresponding angles. So we've got, as I said before, the angle above this parallel line is equal to one above the next parallel line. So we know this is also going to be 75 degrees. That means we could work out what this one is as well. So we could go all out and find out what this is. So this would be 100. If we add these two, so the angles in the triangle are going to add up to 180 degrees. If we add these two angles together, we get 110. So we know therefore that this angle is going to be 70 degrees. So still no nearer to working out what this X is. We will get that. So the next angle that we can work out is going to be this one. We can work out this one quite straightforward, quite easily, because we know that this angle is 75 degrees. Angles on a straight line always add up to 180, which means we know that this one is going to be 105 degrees. And similarly, we can work out what this angle is going to be, because again, angles on a straight line add up to 180. So if we do 180 minus 35, it's going to give 145. And you can check that you're correct, because we've got a four-sided shape here. So 105, 145, 35, and 75, and those should all add up to 360. Now let's have a look at this angle here. Now, so one of the tricks of knowing about parallelograms is that we know that the opposite angles are always equal. So we can work out that this angle is also 75 because it's opposite. So FAB. So we've got this parallelogram A, B, C, D, and that this angle here is equal to this angle here, because angles in a parallelogram, the opposite angles are always equal. And then we've now got two different ways where we can work out what X is. So we could say that we know that this angle here is 105, which means that this total angle, very large angle, will be 105 degrees. And therefore, angle X will be 105 minus 35, or 70 degrees. Alternatively, we know that the angles in a triangle all add up to 180 degrees. So this is going to, these two, 75 plus 35, add to make 110, which then leaves 70 degrees for this last angle X. I'm sure there are many other ways of doing this. You could have used a corresponding angle here, and you know that this equals 105 degrees, because angles on the straight line add up to 180. So this will be 105 degrees, and then corresponding angles. So we've got the sort of the F shape coming along here with this parallel line and this parallel line to work out that this total one will be 105, which you could then use to work out that this X is 70 again. Now, yeah, as I said, there are so many different ways of working this question out. As long as you end up with X equals 70, it really doesn't matter what method you've used, and you can explain each stage of your working. So whether that's the angles in a triangle add up to 180, angles on a straight line add up to 180, angles in a quadrilateral add up to 360, any of the parallel line reasonings. So your alternate angle, interior angle, corresponding angle, opposite angle, any of those, they're all valid reasons for each stage of your working, and they will all be counted as long, and that will give you this answer here. Doesn't matter what working you use. So finally, I just want to say thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe to my channel so that you get the first look at any new videos. And if you do have any suggestions, any topics, any questions you'd like me to go through, please just drop me a message. Thank you for watching.